Chapter 81 Professionals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shadow Moon Pavilion Dungeon. Song Hong leaned against the cold stone wall with his blood all over his body. His limbs were pierced by the magic arrows and his supernatural powers were destroyed. Even if he survived by chance, he would only be a cripple for the rest of his life. Old bastard. If you have the ability, come in and kill me with a knife. If I give in, I will be your grandson. Old bastard. Come in. What are you hiding? What are you afraid of? Dirty words kept coming out of Song Hong's mouth. Because of his excessive emotions, the wounds on his body were affected, and the piercing pain came again, which made him shut his mouth. Song Hong stared fiercely at the one-way glass in front of him. He knew that Sun Wenqing must be sitting opposite at this moment, that bastard must be watching his joke. Bastard. Come in, separated by a wall. After the renovation, the soundproofing is much better. The shouting was too loud before. Every time I came here, I felt noisy and my mood became worse. Sun Wenqing nodded with satisfaction, no longer looking at Song Hong in the cell, and slowly walked to the tea table. Hua Quan respectfully poured a cup of hot tea for Sun Wenqing, and asked with some fear, Deacon Sun, I still think you are taking too much risk this time. How do you know that Lu Changsheng will help? Why don't you let us send someone to follow him? If he doesn't want to, you may be the one cursing now. Sun Wenqing picked up the teacup and corrected seriously, the one who helped me this time was, Ghost Snake. What does it have to do with Lu Changsheng? Lu Changsheng is just a white-collar worker. He doesn't know how to kill demons. Hua Quan was born in the Dark Moon Pavilion after all. Although he was a shadow guard responsible for military force, he was not a reckless man who only knew how to use a knife. He immediately understood what Sun Wenqing meant, and no longer bothered about Lu Changsheng's identity. After thinking for a moment, Hua Quan still said with some concern, Deacon Sun, how do you know that, Ghost Snake, is willing to help? We didn't have any intersection with him before, and we don't know what kind of person he is. It's too dangerous to blindly contact the Ghost Jai agent before we understand the position. Deacon Sun, have you already made plans? No. Sun Wenqing put down the teacup and spoke lightly. Hua Quan was startled, and his hand that was pouring tea froze. The boiling hot tea flowed along the wall of the cup, stirring up clouds of mist on the coffee table. Sun Wenqing raised two fingers lightly, steadying the teapot in the air, and continued, Venerable is irreversible. Planning carefully, acting after careful consideration, all of this cannot be applied to the Venerable. In the face of absolute strength, all conspiracies and tricks are just jokes. The reason why I dare to fight with my life is nothing more than taking a gamble with this life. Fortunately, I won the bet. Hua Quan sighed helplessly and refilled the tea for Sun Wenqing. Only the Venerable can truly influence this world. He has broken through the 6th level for many years, but he has never been able to cross that natural chasm. The Venerable and the Walker are like people from two worlds who, due to some coincidence, landed on the same land. It is clearly in front of us, and it seems to be within reach. But we can never move forward, and we can never experience that kind of power, every time. Hua Quan thinks of this, he will fall into a deep sense of powerlessness. No matter how hard he tries, he can't get close. That feeling is too desperate. By the way, how is the Creation Bureau doing? Is there any progress? Sun Wenqing asked anxiously. Hua Quan shook his head solemnly. The villagers of Nyojia village are no different from the monsters. No matter how the Creation Bureau tests, it cannot accurately distinguish them from the monsters. We can only rely on the few words they occasionally say when they wake up to confirm everyone's identity. What the Creation Bureau can do now is to try to stabilize their consciousness when they are awake and prevent them from being swallowed by the instincts of the monsters. But, the effect is very small. If you want to completely turn them back to humans, you must know how Song Hong and others turn people into monsters. Although Sun Wenqing had expected this situation, his heart still sank. Should we continue to interrogate? I think Song Hong has almost recovered, and he cursed loudly. With that, Hua Quan planned to open the door of the dungeon. Don't worry, that guy's mouth is very hard, and he's a 6th level walker. Ordinary means may not be able to pry his mouth open. I found a professional, who should be here soon. She's very punctual. Sun Wenqing smiled slyly, picked up the teacup, and drank it all. Hua Quan turned around and looked at Sun Wenqing with some doubt, but he found that a woman had stood beside Sun Wenqing. The woman was tall and wore a flowing black dress. Her fair and delicate skin was faintly visible between the carved patterns. It's a pity that Hua Quan was in no mood to appreciate the beauty now, because the woman was wearing a strange red and black mask on her face, and in the corner of the mask, there was a Q version of a ghost rabbit. Swish! Hua Quan didn't have time to think about why the ghost rabbit appeared here, and reflexively drew the sword at his waist. He looked like he was facing a great enemy. The people in Shadow Moon Pavilion are becoming more and more brainless now. Gitu's voice came through the mask, extremely cold. Young man, give him more opportunities, he will grow up. Sun Wenqing raised the teapot, poured a cup of hot tea, and made a please sit down gesture to Gitu. Gitu sat down gracefully, but did not drink the tea. Instead, he went straight to the point and said, the person who needs my help to examine his conscience is the one in the dungeon. Yes, I have written a list of specific questions, and you can ask them one by one. Sun Wenqing handed a note to Gitu and made a look at Hua Quan, asking him to open the door of the dungeon. Hua Chuan's head was buzzing, and he did it subconsciously before he figured out the situation in front of him. Why did the agent of Guizhai appear in Shadow Moon Pavilion? Why did he seem to be very familiar with Deacon Sun? Is she the professional that Deacon Sun mentioned? Hua Quan had questions one after another, but he knew that now was not the time to ask questions, so he stood obediently beside Sun Wenqing and looked into the dungeon. The originally unruly Song Hong, when he saw the ghost rabbit, became obedient like a mouse seeing a cat. His eyes were clear and his expression was innocent, just like a kindergarten kid who saw the auntie bringing him delicious snacks. He was as obedient as he could be. Hua Quan swallowed his saliva, and cold sweat slid down his forehead. The means of the Venerable were simply unbelievable. Chapter 82 Symbiosis Society. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In just half an hour, the ghost rabbit had uncovered all the details of the kindergarten kid Song Hong. Bang! As the dungeon door closed, the ghost rabbit said lightly, "Do you need me to give this kid a hint? Let him not say what he saw today." "No, Hua Quan is one of us, and we can trust him." Sun Wenqing smiled. The ghost rabbit glanced at Hua Quan, no longer paying attention, and said coldly, "It takes a long time to transform the human race into the demon race. They have been planning for a year to transform the villagers of Nyojia village into demons. But something went wrong in the last step. Qiu Shaili should have completed the final awakening ceremony, but Qiu Shaili failed. They had to take all these semi-finished products away and awaken them in another way. Song Hong didn't know the specific method. When this batch of demons was handed over to him, they had already completed the transformation. Sun Wenqing frowned and asked, "What is the specific method of transformation? Food? Magic array? Still, what else is it? Water source." Ghost Rabbit repeated Song Hong's words. "They put a demon heart at the water source of Nyojia village. No one knows the specific type. If you drink polluted water, a tumor similar to the demon crystal core will form in your body. If you are not awakened, you will be no different from ordinary people. But once stimulated, you will mutate immediately. If you want to transform them back to human, there is only one way to remove the crystal core, but for the demons, removing the crystal core means death." He doesn't understand the specific technical matters. Let the Creation Bureau think about it. Sun Wenqing nodded solemnly. Song Hong is Li Zhen's man, but he did this by himself, without anyone's instructions. Ghost Rabbit continued in the order of the questions. Li Zhen. The illegitimate son of Li Junchang, the lord of Sun City. Hua Quan was shocked, but did not dare to interrupt. To make subordinates work wholeheartedly and feel that they have nothing to do with the master, don't you think this method is very familiar? Sun Wenqing's voice gradually became cold. Symbiosis Society. That when he said these three words, Gitu's voice had some ups and downs for the first time. There was silence in the room for a moment. I have asked all the questions you asked me to ask. Remember to bring my reward to Guizhai. You should know the rules of Guizhai. Not even one less child will do. Gitu completed his task, took a step forward, his body was ethereal and strange, and disappeared from the dungeon in the blink of an eye. Hua Quan exhaled heavily, patted his chest with lingering fear, and said nervously, dealing with the Venerable is really too hard. Even if there is no pressure leaking out, just standing there, I feel so nervous that I forget to breathe. It's okay once you get used to it, Hua Quan, you should learn more from He Jing in this regard. If it was him standing here today, he would definitely not be afraid. Maybe he will draw his sword and cut a few times to see if he can break the defense. Sun Wenqing sat down at the tea table, laughing and teasing. I'm different from that stupid young man, he's a bit brainless. Hua Quan sat down sullenly and poured himself a cup of hot tea. By the way, Deacon Sun, when did you get in touch with Ghost Rabbit again? No connection, just a simple transaction. You have money, you can also place an order in Ghost House. Sun Wenqing didn't want to talk about this topic anymore, just laughed it off and perfunctorily passed it over. The familiar look between you two just now doesn't look like a deal, Hua Quan complained in his heart, but did not ask any more questions. He just looked at the dungeon and said hesitantly, since Song Hong can't identify Li Zhen, there is no point in keeping him. Do we need to get rid of him? Sun Wenqing waved his hand gently and said faintly, you don't know those people. Even if Song Hong didn't say a word, they wouldn't let him go. Keep him. If you want to fish, you always need some bait, don't you? Jubao Pavilion headquarters, in the steaming sauna room, the light white mist brought gusts of hot wind. Teray leaned back naked and lay on the wooden chair. On his strong chest, dozens of scars were hideous and terrifying, twisting and twisting like a centipede. Ha! If you want to enjoy, you businessmen know how to enjoy it. I never thought that I could install a sauna room in the office. If Mr. Tu likes, I can have someone install a more advanced one in your office. All the expenses will be paid by Jubao Pavilion. Yang Guangxiu stood respectfully by the side in a well-dressed suit. The scorching heat made him sweat profusely, and his expensive suit was soaked with sweat and wrinkled, but he didn't dare to use his supernatural power to resist it. Hiss. A young man took a spoonful of hot water from the pool and poured it on the stone in the middle of the room, making a sound of evaporating water, like Tu. He was naked with only a towel around his neck. I say, old Tu, can you not talk about things in the sauna room every time? Aren't you hot? Li Zhen stepped back a few steps due to the scalding of the steam, grinning and saying. You are still young, you don't understand. Teray wiped the sweat off his face, his expression seemed to be lost in memories. When you are on the front line, it is extremely difficult to take a shower. There's blood and corpses everywhere. I can't figure out whether it's me or the corpses that stink. How can I take a leisurely bath in a sauna like this? It's too good to even think about. Li Zhen had only been to Dawn City with a convoy transporting supplies, and had never been to the front line, so he couldn't understand that feeling. He curled his lips and said casually, old Tu, Song Hong can't be blamed for the warehouse. Who would have thought that Sun Wenqing would ask the Venerable of Guizhai for help? But don't worry, Song Hong has been with me for many years, and he will never say a word, and will not get involved with us. I don't plan to talk about this today, wipe your own ass. Tu lay stretched, moved his limbs, looked at Yang Guangxiu, and slowly said, have you prepared the materials to be transported to Fengdu City? Although Yang Guangxiu was in the sauna, he instantly felt like he was falling into an ice cave. He couldn't tell whether it was cold sweat or heat. He just felt his scalp tingling and his heartbeat accelerated. Ready, but once these supplies are discovered. That would be a serious crime of aiding the enemy. I'm afraid all of us in Jubao Pavilion will be buried with them. Mr. Tu, is there any room for negotiation on this matter? Tu Lei filled a large spoonful of hot water and poured it on the stone again. A huge mist of water soon spread, raising the temperature in the room by several degrees again. This is a test of you by the Symbiosis Society. As long as you pass this level, you will be ours. Tu Lei said slowly, I have already arranged everything in the hunting ground. No one will check your goods. And I heard a piece of news. Your brother and Guan Shan are also going to the hunting ground. It's just right, you can do 2 tasks at once. If even your own brother is assassinated, no one will associate this with you. Isn't it perfect? Yang Guangshu's pupils suddenly contracted, and his breathing choked. He only felt that the man in front of him was not his kind at all, but a god of death wielding a sickle, and that fatal sickle is already hanging over his head, ready to fall at any moment. Chapter 83, Grand Opening. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the next month, Sun Wenqing always went to the Changsheng Hall to have food every 3 days on the pretext of reporting on the progress of the incident. With Song Hong's information, the Bureau of Creation has successfully stabilized the demonization of the villagers in Nyojia village, but further plans are needed to remove the crystal core while still surviving. For the demon clan, taking the crystal core alive is equivalent to cutting off the human heart, so the difficulty can be imagined, but at least there is hope. It's really too hot today in Yaoguang City. It's still comfortable in Lincheng. If I had known earlier, I would have rented a smaller store. I don't even feel the air conditioner blowing. Lu Changsheng sat on a special folding chair, letting the fan blow his hair, while checking the system details and complaining irritably. Details of mall coins are as follows. Gujia's innate skill experience increased by 1% through hard work. Gujia's Xiantian Kung LV4 practice progress is 37%, and a total of 3,700 mall coins have been obtained. Through hard training, Gujia's experience in gathering souls increased by 3%. Gujia's cultivation progress of Julingdi LV3 is 90%, and he has obtained a total of 1,800 mall coins. Through hard training, Guan Shan's Revenge of Revenge experience increased by 0%. The training progress of Guanshan Fury of Revenge LV3 is 99%, and a total of 1,400 mall coins have been obtained. Through hard training, Guan Shan's experience of the 10,000 God's Sword increased by 0%. The cultivation progress of Guanshan 10,000 God's Sword LV2 is 99%, and a total of 2,390 mall coins have been obtained. Total mall coins, 11,985. After your skill reaches LV4, can you get 100 mall coins every time you improve it? Lu Changsheng looked at the details with some surprise. How about waiting for Jar to reach 99% in her cultivation and ask her if she wants to watch a horror movie? Lu Changsheng couldn't help but think, speaking of which, the mall coins have exceeded 10,000, and it seems that I can draw skills again. Lu Changsheng was caught in a dilemma. It is obvious that skills can improve the strength, but the role of mall currency is not small. Whether it is to increase Krypton gold or to save lives, mall currency is needed. At present, it seems that even if he doesn't spend money, his strength is still the strength of a venerable. If the skills he draws out do not change qualitatively, but instead waste one of his trump cards, the gain will outweigh the loss. It's better to save some more mall coins before considering extracting skills. Ding dong ding dong. A message interrupted Lu Changsheng's thoughts. He picked up his phone and saw the familiar number, and felt a headache just then. Boss Lu. What shall we eat today? Sun Wenqing came to the living room familiar with the familiarity, got a teapot and poured himself a cup of tea. Ask her Guzi, are you bothered? Lu Changsheng said angrily, his fingers still sliding on the screen. Mr. Sun, the meal is ready, you came on time. As if in response to Lu Changsheng's call, Niu Jiashuan carried plates of hot meals and kept going back and forth between the kitchen and the dining table. What's the matter, Boss Lu? What's bothering you? Sun Wenqing took the bowl and chopsticks handed over from the Niu family and thanked him. Looking at Lu Changsheng's troubled expression, he asked curiously, he also wanted to know, what else in this world could trouble His Holiness? Don't mention it, the dog leftover thing. Lu Changsheng put down his mobile phone, rubbed his eyes, and complained helplessly, normal students always ask their parents to get some gold coins, how can they be like a disciple like me? They always ask me for monsters. Why are there so many monsters around Yaoguang City? Speaking of this, Lu Changsheng seemed to have remembered something and said to Niu Jishuan, Guzi, don't eat it yet. I will take a photo of you and send it to your senior brother so that he can identify you. Niu Jishuan put down the food in his hand, raised his head with some reluctance, and gave a stiff smile. Master, isn't it too late to introduce me after my senior brother comes back? Niu Jishuan was not mentally prepared yet, and he didn't know whether this senior brother would accept him. After all, it's a monster. I'm afraid that when he sees you, he will draw a knife and kill someone. Recently, Go Xingzi's mind has been filled with monsters, and he's almost crazy. Niu Jishuan was stunned after hearing this, and became even more frightened. The food on the table seemed to no longer taste good. Don't worry, your senior brother and senior sister are both good people. After entering the Changsheng Hall, we are all one family. Sensing the emotions of the third apprentice, Lu Changsheng added. Niu Jishuan nodded slightly, but the knot in his heart was still not resolved. Tangled for a while, between fear and eating, Niu Jishuan followed his heart and chose to eat when he was afraid. Lu Changsheng pursed his lips and did not explain too much. Guzi would find out when he met Go Xingzi himself. He sighed softly and said as if talking to himself, I don't know how people are taught in the military academy. They make such idiots wish they could sleep in the monster clan's den every day. Sun Wenqing chuckled and said somewhat mysteriously, I know why Guan Shan became like this. Lu Changsheng turned his head with confusion on his face. Sun Wenqing's expression seemed to be lost in memories. His face alternated between struggling and happy, which was particularly wonderful. After thinking for a long time, he spoke quietly. He, probably is hungry. Lu Changsheng. I'm so hungry. Xiao Xiaoyi's eyes were already covered with bloodshot eyes. She opened her huge mouth and bit the big chicken leg in front of her. It hurts. It hurts, it hurts. Little sister. It's me, let go, let go. Xiao Jiang held his sister's head with one hand, trying to push her away from his arm, but he couldn't move at all. Xiao Xiaoyi's eyes were filled with happiness, her saliva kept flowing down her arms, and she kept making satisfied hey sounds from her mouth. I'm going crazy just seeing it. Crossbow arrows continued to fall around Xiao Jiang, but they all seemed to have lost their accuracy and flew past his side. If there are high-level practitioners present, they will be surprised to find that. The 197th class of freshmen have reached an extremely high level of control over pressure. They would only activate coercion and change the angle of the crossbow just before the crossbow was about to hit. Not a single bit of superpower will be wasted. After a month of special hell training, all the freshmen of the 197th class have broken through to the third level, facing the attack of arrows. He changed from being in a hurry at the beginning to being calm, while Guan Shan was eating chicken legs. He looked at the poor Qiao brothers and sisters, and from time to time he would wave his hand to knock off one or two flying crossbow arrows. It's not that he doesn't want to help his companions, it's just that the chicken thief Li Yunxian doesn't know where he is hiding. Once he finds out that Guan Shan comes to help, whether he helps block the arrows or provides food, military merit will be deducted. The end result is that no one has to eat. It has been a month since they entered school, and everyone's military merit has been almost used up. Except for Guan Shan and Yang Chao, who can barely eat a full meal a day, everyone else has been hungry for several days. The worst offender was Qiao Jiang, who originally had few military achievements, but was inexplicably deducted 5 points by Li Yunxian. He is now hungry for 9 meals in 3 days. Everyone was dizzy. If it hadn't been for my sister's bite, which made me a little more energetic, I would have fainted under the rain of arrows at this moment. The last round of arrow rain finally ended. Guan Shan and others secretly breathed a sigh of relief. They all lay on the ground tiredly, constantly adjusting their breath. Xiao Xiaoyi was still chewing on her brother's arm, and Xiao Jian also accepted his fate. He really didn't have the strength to push his sister away, so he could only lie down on the ground with a look of despair on his face. A lazy voice came. I said, can you handle it? You can't withstand such a strong rain of arrows. The arrows on the battlefield can cover up the sky. What will you do then? Is it a grand event? Li Yunxuan's head appeared out of nowhere, with a black eye mask hanging on his forehead, looking like he had just woken up. Chapter 84, Think about it, it will kill people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That's what the teacher taught you. Yang Chao's etiquette can never be faulted. Old Li, you are a well-fed man and don't know how hungry a man is. I'm almost ascending to heaven. Xiao Jiang said weakly. You won't die of hunger. Don't complain to me here. The rules of the military academy are there. When you are hungry, go kill the demon. Li Yunxian took out a lunch box from behind and opened it in front of everyone. He ate vigorously, searched TWKAN on Google, the long-lost aroma of meat wafted into everyone's noses, immediately causing the sound of swallowing. In the military academy, we only recognize military merit. With military merit, you can enjoy good food and drink hot food. With military merit, you will have a steady stream of cultivation resources. With military merit, even if you want to sit on my head and shit and pee, you can do it. If I say no, I will write Li Yunxian upside down. If there is no military merit, then let me starve. The military academy only wants hungry wolves that can kill monsters, not fat domestic dogs. Do you understand? That everyone's eyes were about to burst into flames, but there was nothing they could do against Li Yunxian. Guan Shan has asked his master to help find clues about the demon clan, but there are fewer demon clans around Yaoguang City than pandas. Anyone who takes the lead will be killed immediately. It's not their turn to gain military merit at all. Everyone could only watch as their military exploits diminished day by day, but there was nothing they could do. Li Yunxian deliberately ate his lunchbox slowly, listening to the cuckoo sounds that kept ringing around him, with a mean smile on his face. After he swallowed the last piece of rice, he accurately threw the lunchbox into a trash can dozens of meters away with a wave of his hand. Hiccup. After burping with satisfaction, Li Yunxian stood up slowly, looked at the students who were gnashing their teeth in front of him, and said lightly, "Don't say that the teacher is unloyal and eats alone. Now the teacher will show you a clear way. As for whether you can eat it or not, if you have enough food, it depends on your life." Everyone's eyes lit up. Xiao Jiang wiped the drool from the corner of his mouth, shook off his sister on his arm, and listened carefully, for fear of missing a word. If he continues to be so hungry, he will be the next one to go crazy. The hunting ground is about to change its defenses. I have already signed up for you. There are a lot of monsters there. I guarantee that I will feed you until you are fat and white. Li Yunxian joked. Hunting ground? Guan Shan looked at Wang Sheng with some confusion. If there was anyone in class 197 who was most familiar with the front line, it would be him. The material transportation line from Dawn City to Fundu City was originally used to transfer materials. After the fall of Fundu City, it was abandoned. Wang Sheng said slowly, relying on his memory. After the demon clan found out, they often sent spies. Sneak in that way. The Demon Slayer Division has established a defense line there and patrols it regularly. Because spies from the Demon Clan can often be caught, the military nicknamed that patrol route the hunting ground. Between Fundu City and Liming City, isn't that the front line? Guan Shan looked at Li Yunxian in surprise. He didn't expect that he would have to go to the front line to fight for his life just after entering school. Under normal circumstances, the battles on the front line will not affect the hunting grounds. The demon clan and the human race have a certain tacit understanding. They need the hunting grounds to help spies infiltrate, and we need the hunting grounds to temper our warriors. But, on the battlefield, anything can happen. Maybe when you go, the demon clan will find you distasteful and send a team of people to kill you. In that case, I can only blame you for your bad luck. Li Yunxian paused for a moment and scanned everyone's faces carefully, as if he wanted to remember their appearance in his mind. So, if you want to quit, do it now. Once you reach the hunting ground, don't think about coming back until you change defense next time. I've thought about it all. It will kill people. I'll go. Guan Shan's voice was calm. After finishing speaking, he continued to gnaw on the chicken leg on his hand until all the chicken leg bones were gnawed clean, and not even the dregs were left. Then he patted the oil stain on his hand with satisfaction. I'll go. Wang Xing's voice was a little weak, but still loud. This was not his first time on the battlefield, so he didn't feel much fear. I'll go. Liang Yusin was the last to break through to the third level, and she had been holding back an evil fire in her heart, wanting to prove herself. I'll go. Yang Chao bowed respectfully, a fierce look in his eyes flashed away, and he soon returned to his handsome young master look. I, go, my sister, also goes. Xiao Jiang said weakly. He really didn't have the strength to push his sister away, so he had to help her express his position. No one in class 197 quit. Li Yunxian looked at the students with hungry eyes and expectant expressions, and nodded with satisfaction. The reason why the military academy stipulates that everything depends on military merit is to influence the students subtly. Let them forget the fear of the demon clan and only be left with the desire for military glory. When encountering each other on a narrow road, the brave will win. In a life-and-death fight, whoever is afraid will often be doomed. There is a joke circulating among veterans on the battlefield. If you want to tell where the recruits come from, it's easy. Those who will discuss tactics before taking action and make decisions before taking action must be from Wuling Academy. Those who hide in the dark as soon as the fight starts and always take out various props must be from Tiangong College. As for those who see the monsters, their eyes glow green, drool, and rush forward desperately, you don't need to ask to know that they must be from military academies. Although it is a joke, there is absolutely no student in the military academy who is afraid of death. This is why the graduation rate of military academies is at the bottom every year, but it is still the strongest academy. No one else. Li Yunxian took a deep breath, put away his playful expression, and said in a very serious tone, "You are all students of my military academy. You must not lose face for the military academy when you go out. Remember, if foreign races invade my territory, I will put on armor and hold my weapons, and fight to the death. Even if you are on the brink of the abyss, you must not forget your ambition to save the world. When you enter the Demon Slayer division, you must fight to the death. If you flee in the face of the enemy, no matter where you are, I will find you and bring you back with my head. If you unfortunately die in battle, the teacher will personally collect your bodies and carry your spirits." Did you hear it clearly? Yes. 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 The freshman of class 197 stared at Li Yunxian with burning eyes, and did not retreat an inch. Very good. Li Yunxuan's mouth curled up slightly, it's starting to look a bit like a military school. When you come back, the college competition should also start. Then let those little brats from Wuling and Tiangong know what the hell is called elite. What, only worthy of being called the pride of the human race. Chapter 85. How many more 3 years do we have left? You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a speeding military vehicle, all the freshmen in class 197 were stuffing food into their mouths voraciously, chewing and swallowing, accompanied by the sound of sobbing with emotion. Wow! I didn't know before that chicken leg rice was so delicious. Liang Yusin's tears of emotion flowed down her face and fell into the lunch box. Shall we finish the 7th lunch box, folded it beside her, burped with satisfaction, touched her bulging belly, and lay down beside the carriage. Everyone seemed to see a transparent soul floating from her head. At this point, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. She must have left happily. If you can eat, eat more. After you come back from the hunting ground, your food will still be exchanged for military merits. If you fail to catch the monsters and starve to death, don't say it's my student. Li Yunxian took off his sleep mask and half leaned against the chair and said meanly. I can still eat. Shall we seem to have heard a horror story. She forced herself to get up from the ground and struggled to reach for the lunchbox. Little sister, don't eat anymore. If you eat more, you will really die. The physique of the awakened can't stand such overeating. Xiao Zhang's mouth was full of food, and he gave a vague advice. I say, leave some food for Guanshan, otherwise what will he eat when he comes back to life? Liang Yusen finally managed to snatch 3 lunch boxes from the Qiao brothers and sisters, and held them tightly in her arms. He's dead, what good can he eat? Give me the lunch box, hurry up. Xiao Jiang saw the lunch box being taken away, and bursts of green light appeared in his eyes, and he rushed to Liang Yusen. Amid the noise, the military vehicle finally stopped. The freshman of class 197 jumped off the military vehicle with difficulty, with a big belly. Just one look, everyone was dumbfounded. The towering city wall covered the sky, as if it was connected to the sky. The sun shone through the clouds, sprinkled on the city wall, emitting a dazzling light. Above the city wall, arrow towers and corner towers are arranged in an orderly manner. Rows of crossbow carts and artillery are all engraved with precise rune arrays. Even if none of them are activated, they can still cause waves of pressure, as if even the air has been squeezed thinner. The air is filled with indissoluble blood. I don't know if it's an illusion. Guanshan seems to hear the cries of countless soldiers before their death and the crazy roars of the monsters. It's like, they are still fighting, and still burning the last drop of blood in their bodies. On the walls of Dawn City, the mottled blood has long solidified, like a blood-stained totem, standing alone and proudly. New soldiers are constantly gathering at the forward base beside the city wall, and wounded soldiers are constantly being transported back from the front line. There are even more people who are buried forever on the front line, and even their bodies cannot be transported back. They can only be trampled into powder by the monsters or their companions in one charge after another, and merge into the dark red earth, no matter how perfect the written records are, or how clear the video is. Many things cannot be understood without seeing them with one's own eyes. For a moment, Guanshan suddenly understood why there were always people rushing to the front line. Even if they knew that there was a dead end ahead, they would rush forward without hesitation, because this is hell. Behind them is their home. All human beings have nowhere to retreat. There is only one way to go. To the death. Top, do you see the big hole above? Li Yunxian rarely put away his smirk and said seriously. Guanshan followed Li Yunxuan's line of sight and looked at the top of the city wall. A hole that was obviously repaired later hung alone above the Dawn City. In the last battle to defend Dawn City, 3 Abyss Lords, with 7 great demons, took turns to attack the city. The rear received 3 rounds of reinforcements, but they still couldn't hold on. Just before the city was breached, the Venerable of the Demon Slayer Division arrived. At the cost of the death of 2 Venerables, they were able to hold on to the last wave of attacks. Everyone was extremely shocked. The word, venerable, is almost equivalent to invincibility in the world of awakeners. They couldn't imagine how tragic the battle that could cause the death of a venerable would be. You rarely see venerables, right? Li Yunxian asked indifferently. The Demon Slayer Division has been established for hundreds of years, and the accumulated cultivation resources are enormous. Ghost House can have 12 venerables, but the Demon Slayer Division rarely sees venerables take action. Do you know why? That everyone looked at each other, not knowing why. Except for a few venerables who preside over the overall situation, there are also necessary garrison forces. All the venerables of the Demon Slayer Division have voluntarily fallen asleep in the sky. Because the lifespan of the human race is far less than that of the demon race, in order to prevent the human race from having no one available when the war comes, they gave up the opportunity to enjoy themselves and their transcendent status. They even gave up the time to spend with their families. Just so that they can become the last sharp blade of the human race when the Demon Slayer Division summons them. Each of them knows that when they wake up, it will be a matter of life and death for the human race. From the moment they are awakened, their lives may have entered the countdown. Even so, generations of Demon Slayer Division geniuses still unswervingly enter the sky, and no one has ever regretted it. No one knows where the sky dome is, and no one knows how many venerables are sleeping there. But everyone knows that if it comes to the last moment, someone will definitely stand up and save the building from collapse and turn the tide. This is the Demon Slaying Division. This is the human race. Li Yunxian took a deep breath and looked at his students. You are all the pride of the human race. In the future, you may also become venerables and master in human power. When that time comes, please don't forget why you hold the sharp blade. Why fight? Guan Shan and others looked at Dawn City solemnly, and none of them spoke. Okay, let's go. Go to where you should go. Li Yunxian waved his hand, and a military vehicle drove out of the forward base and stopped in front of everyone. A rough voice came. Old Li, are you crazy? Why did you send these child soldiers here? There are monsters above level 4 in the hunting grounds. Are you going to improve their food? A strong man jumped off the military vehicle and rushed to Li Yunxian in 2 steps, almost roaring. Meng Tuo, aren't you from a military academy? Don't you know that every class of students must come to the front line for training? Li Yunxian ignored the furious Meng Tuo, turned around and took a selfie of himself. He quickly edited a text and posted it on WeChat Moments. The wind from the front line finally blew to my side. Damn it, even if you want to come to the front line for training, you have to be at least in the 3rd grade. How can you come to the front line to die without breaking through the 4th level? They don't even have an energy shield. We dare not shoot arrows when we want to cover their retreat. Also, can you please stop taking pictures? Meng Tuo snatched Li Yunxuan's mobile phone, threw it on the ground, and crushed it with 1 foot. Li Yunxian glanced at Meng Tuo, took out another mobile phone from his pocket slowly, and said lightly, the one you crushed is the latest model, 12,000. Remember to transfer the money later, otherwise I will definitely complain to you. You. Li Yunxuan's expression turned cold and interrupted. How many 3 years do you think we have left? Meng Tuo was stunned. I couldn't say a complete sentence for a long time. The demons of the 7th level and above are called big demons. In order not to affect the text, they will not be explained separately later. Chapter 86. Isn't this what you taught me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liming City Military Camp. In a huge camp, Li Yunxian calmly drank hot tea and occasionally posted a circle of friends to prove that he was fighting on the front line. Meng Tuo looked at Li Yunxuan's calm expression and felt angry. If it weren't for the fact that this was the center of the military, he would have rushed over to fight him. Sorry for the long wait. I just had a small meeting. An old man walked into the camp with his head held high. Wang Shilong was tall and strong, and his every move could cause a series of weak fluctuations. He was wearing a black battle armor, and the complicated and precise magic circle was gilded and rotated, which was imposing. If it weren't for the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes and the silver hair hanging down from his forehead, even if he was only 40 years old, some people would believe it. Wang Shui, you have to judge the matter of Li Yunxian sending new soldiers here. How can he be so reckless? Meng Tuo said hurriedly as if he had seen the backbone. Wang Shilong waved his hand and interrupted him. He used his hands and feet to unbutton his armor and threw it aside. He kicked all the protective gear on his legs away, unbuttoned the helmet on his head and put it on the desk. Then he sat down comfortably, picked up the bowl on the table, and drank several mouthfuls of cold tea. Ah! It's comfortable. It's too stuffy to wear that. I've told those bastards in the Creation Bureau so many times that we should install built-in air conditioners on the armor, but they just don't take it seriously and tell me that it will reduce defense. One day, I'll let those nerds wear it for a day to see if they can stand it. Meng Tuo, what did you say just now? Wang Shilong took off all his clothes except for a pair of shorts and an old man's vest, and asked like an old man chatting at the entrance of the village. Meng Tuo had long been accustomed to it, and hurriedly said, your grandson. He was sent to the front line and will soon change guards with the hunting grounds. Do you know about this? Your grandson. Why are you cursing? Wang Shilong suddenly became anxious and almost threw the bowl in his hand. No. It's really your grandson. Wang Sheng. Li Yunxian sent all the freshmen of the military academy this year. Meng Tuo was not afraid. This old general and their family would not recognize relatives when fighting, and was ruthless, but on weekdays, he was still easy to talk to and would not get angry because of this slip of the tongue. Wang Sheng. Is he scared? Wang Shilong's face was furious, and the blue veins on his forehead swelled up. That's not the case. He was quite eager to fight. Meng Tuo recalled the expression on Wang Sheng's face just now and said. That's it, my grandson didn't flinch, why should you? Why, other people's grandsons can go to the battlefield, but my grandson is not worthy. Meng Tuo wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Wang Shilong again. The matter of the new soldiers' rotation is something that you, the patrol leader, can handle. Why do you have to report to me? Are you too idle recently and have nothing to do? Do your job. Don't worry about it. Yun Xian, you stay. Meng Tuo left the camp in a depressed mood. Before leaving, he did not forget to glance at Li Yunxian fiercely, with an unhappy face. This time, the military academy really has to participate in the war. Don't leave some seeds. Wang Shilong said casually. Not all of them, the freshmen of the 197th class will be in the 4th grade by then, and they will stay. Li Yunxian imitated Wang Shilong, picked up the herbal tea on the table, and took a sip. Or, let's keep a few more. We have to guide the next generation. The inheritance of the military academy should not be broken. Li Yunxian put down the bowl and said seriously, if we all hide in the back when the human race is facing life and death, how can we educate our students to fight bloody battles and carry the banner of the human race? For the military academy, people are not the foundation, but the unextinguished will is the soul of the military academy. Didn't you teach me this? Old principal. Wang Shilong looked at his students deeply, but didn't say anything after all. The shy child back then is now a real warrior. The two looked at each other, and it seemed that they saw the shadow of the past in each other. From beginning to end, Wang Shilong never asked a question about Wang Xing's situation. This is a heart-protecting mirror, which can block the full-strength attack of a 4th-level monster and protect your internal organs and heart veins. The 5th level can also reduce a large part of the impact force, but it will lose combat effectiveness. Don't count on the 6th level, it will break at the touch. Meng Tuo pointed to the round bronze mirror on his chest and introduced the various equipment of the patrol soldiers. Military crossbows, equipped with 24 magic sealing arrows, pay attention to protect the quiver. If it is broken, it will affect the effect of the magic sealing arrows. Meng Tuo patted the crossbow on his waist and pointed to the quiver behind him. This is your communicator. All orders are issued by this. It also has a positioning function. If you are injured, it can also guide you to retreat. Meng Tuo adjusted the armband on his shoulder. This is a military treatment injection. Except for broken hands and feet, most injuries can be cured, but it will put a great burden on the body. Don't use it for minor injuries. Meng Tuo took out the green injection pin to his waist and demonstrated how to use it. These are your basic equipment. If there is any damage or malfunction, contact the headquarters immediately and come back to change clothes. When performing the mission, pay attention to the prompts on the armband. Green means everything is normal and the mission is carried out as planned. Yellow means that a large number of monsters are attacking. Retreat quickly according to the direction of the indicator. If it is red, then there is no need to run. It means that you have been surrounded by monsters and have no way to retreat. Prepare to fight to the death. I have finished talking about the precautions. If you have any other questions, ask them now. Meng Tuo looked at the new recruits of Class 197 and said helplessly. Guan Shan and others played with the equipment in their hands with some curiosity, but did not raise any questions. Many things and many difficulties cannot be felt by imagination, only by personal experience can you know how difficult it is. Okay, come and sign, and you can be dismissed. Get familiar with the barracks today and officially carry out the mission tomorrow. Meng Tuo waved the document in his hand and greeted everyone. What is this? Guan Shan looked at the document with some confusion. Payee, relationship, contact address, contact information. On the blank document, there were only these few words. If you die in battle, the death pension will be distributed to your family according to this document. According to your current level, your family can get 300,000. Really? My life is only worth a 4th level crystal core. Liang Yusin frowned unhappily. To be precise, it's not even worth a fourth-level crystal core. The price of crystal cores has increased recently, and the current market price is about 350,000. Yang Chao took the document and directly filled in that no pension was needed. Jubao Pavilion was very rich, so it was better to leave the precious money to those who needed it more. Yang Yusen muttered unhappily and wrote her father's name. Guan Shan picked up the pen and wrote, Lu Changsheng, Gu Jia, on the document. After a pause, he added, Guzi. As for the relationship, Guan Shan wrote the two big words without hesitation, family. Chapter 87. What level am I and what level is he? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Early next morning. See the forest ahead? It's what we call a hunting ground. Most of the monsters infiltrate from there. Your task is to set off from the base every day and follow a fixed route to check whether the monster detectors have malfunctioned. Meng Tuo pointed to the endless forest in the distance and said. The demon clan often disguises itself as a refugee from Fengdu City and tries to sneak into Dawn City. You must distinguish them carefully. Are there any surviving humans in Fengdu City? Guan Shan asked in surprise. Well, don't think of the monsters as beasts that can only kill. Their intelligence is not much lower than that of humans. They know very well that those refugees are much more valuable alive than dead. And the demon clan is very cunning. They release a certain number of human compatriots every day and let them flow into Dawn City. Those spies of the demon clan can mix in the crowd and enter Dawn City. Meng Tuo explained carefully. Then how do we distinguish the monsters mixed in the crowd? Guan Shan's expression gradually became serious. It's difficult. Those monsters who are good at lurking are no different from humans. Even the detectors can't detect them. You can only be careful and don't be fooled by the monsters mixed in the crowd. All refugees who have escaped will be closely monitored. Only after it is determined that there are absolutely no problems will they be allowed to return to human society. Our patrolling soldiers were killed by monsters mixed in with the crowd before. When they were found, not a single bone in their bodies was intact, and even their skins were peeled off. After investigation, we found out that the monster who killed him disguised himself as the soldier and infiltrated into the military camp. Fortunately, he was discovered in time, otherwise it would have almost caused a catastrophe. So you remember, if someone in the team leaves and returns to the team, even if they are just going to take a pee, they must verify their identity. In the hunting ground, anyone may raise a butcher knife towards you. You must never be careless. Remember our passwords. The first sentence is, do you want to eat beef head, and the second sentence is, I don't eat coriander. Memorize them all. If you fail to answer and are beaten to death by your teammates, don't complain. The freshmen in class 197 all nodded seriously and followed Meng Tuo, muttering don't eat coriander and do you want to eat beef? And slowly walked into the endless forest. In the military tent in Dawn City, man was half leaning on the marshal's chair, holding a report and reading it carefully. The dark golden armor is exquisitely made, with long hair hanging down his shoulders, frost-white temples, a resolute face, and deep eyes. The years have not left too many vicissitudes on his body. The most powerful man in the world, Lin Yuan, the chief of the demon-slaying department and known as the Marquis of the Army, is a man with excellent temperament and appearance. At this moment, his body is slightly slanted, like a beast entrenched, calm and powerful. Even if he is not always at the top of Guizhai's bounty list, anyone who sees him can still feel the sense of oppression brought by the superior in the man. Besides Lin Yuan, there was another person sitting in the big tent. Wang Shilong threw away the small teacup in dissatisfaction and replaced it with his favorite sea bowl. I just don't understand how such a small teacup can taste. Drinking tea is for a moment of peace. It's strange that you can calm down after drinking so much. Lin Yuan said without raising his head. Wang Shilong curled his lips, obviously not agreeing with this statement. How many sages do you plan to wake up to deal with this demonic tide? Wang Shilong's tone dropped and he started talking about business. You don't know how to play cards, right? Lin Yuan answered the question. Wang Shilong frowned slightly and asked, what do you mean? How can anyone lose their first hand when playing cards? Furthermore, do you know how many sleeping venerables there are in the sky? Lin Yuan asked. How could I know this? Only the chiefs of the Demon Slayer department in the past know the secrets of Changsheng. Wang Shilong shrugged, not knowing what kind of medicine Lin Yuan was selling in the gourd. Look, even you don't know, and the demon clan is even less clear. Haven't you heard? The most powerful weapon will never be revealed to others easily. Lin Yuan seemed not to want to discuss this issue in depth and changed the topic with a smile. You don't have to worry about His Holiness's affairs. It's another matter that I'm a little curious about. Your grandson should be almost at the hunting ground now. Why don't you go and take a look? Wang Shilong snorted disdainfully. I am the commander-in-chief of the front line, and he is just a new recruit. What's my level, and what's his level? How can I be qualified to pay attention to it? Then why were you standing on the city wall staring at the hunting ground all morning? You, the Wang family, are quite awkward even though you care about me to death but refuse to say it out loud. Lin Yuan cursed in his heart, but did not say it. He just chuckled twice and looked at the documents in his hand carefully. An extremely clear map of Fengdu City slowly unfolded in his hands. Every stronghold and every deployment was clearly marked. There is nothing wrong with this detector. The values are stable and there are no abnormalities. Guan Shan buried the detector in the ground again and patted the dust on his hands. Okay, speed up the process. There are still 3 detectors. After the inspection, we can go back to the camp. Meng Tuo clapped his hands and greeted everyone. But we haven't killed the monster yet. This trip is not in vain. Xiao Jiang didn't know if he was hungry some time ago. Now whenever he thought of the monster tribe, he would automatically think of chicken leg rice. I had just eaten a full meal before leaving, why am I hungry again now? There are not monster tribes in the hunting ground every day. Don't worry, you have to stay for a full month during this rotation. There will definitely be a chance. Meng Tuo saw the eager eyes of the freshman and couldn't help but recall his campus life. In the 4 years in the military academy, I was hungry all the time. At the worst time, I almost ate the monster tribe directly when I saw it. Meng Tuo was thinking about encouraging everyone again, but the armbands on everyone's shoulders turned yellow at the same time. The group of demon cavalry is approaching, 12 in number, with a detection level of 1 6th level, 3 4th level, and 8 3rd level. Please evacuate in the direction of the indicator. Following the command of the headquarters, everyone's armbands all showed a direction arrow, pointing to the Dawn City behind them. Captain, there is a 3rd level one. Go. Do it. Xiao Zhang's mouth was already drooling, and the whole person was excited. Don't make trouble, I can deal with the 6th level one, and the remaining 3 4th level ones are like playing to kill you. Follow the command and retreat when you need to. After that, Meng Tuo took the lead and rushed in the direction of the indicator. Help, help. Save us. A series of shrill cries for help came from behind the crowd, interrupting everyone's escape. Guan Shan looked back with a serious face. A dozen ragged refugees were stumbling towards them, and everyone was covered with scars. Chapter 88 Draw Your Sword to Fight. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't go over there, beware of demons disguised as refugees. Meng Tuo waved his hand and stopped the 197th class from moving. Keep your distance and take them back to Dawn City. Although they couldn't bear it, they could only retreat silently, looking back from time to time to see if the refugees had been lost. Google search TWKAN, more than a dozen refugees, all pale and thin, all with injuries, long-term malnutrition, so that their physical strength was seriously damaged. They couldn't run at all, and could only stagger behind everyone. Relying on the last bit of survival will, they barely moved forward. The demon cavalry is approaching, speed up the evacuation, don't dawdle. The command from the headquarters came again, and Meng Tuo's heart sank. This group of refugees was obviously deliberately driven out by the demons, just to delay their pace and prevent the patrol from evacuating. Maybe there are a lot of demon undercovers mixed in. The best plan now is to ignore them and retreat with all your strength, otherwise, everyone will probably die here. But Even if only one of these refugees is human, they are still their compatriots. The patrol team can certainly retreat, but how can these refugees outrun the cavalry behind them? A dilemma. Meng Tuo clenched his fist tightly, and his nails turned blue and white because of excessive force. Swish, a long black arrow flew in the air, with bursts of wind-breaking sounds. The refugee who was running in the front was pierced by the long arrow in the back, and the huge inertia carried him to fly for several meters before being nailed into the ground. The tail of the long arrow was still trembling slightly. The body of the refugee slowly slid down from the long arrow and finally fell to the ground. His face still had the happiness of escaping death, but his eyes were full of despair. Obviously, as long as he held on for a while longer, he could return to Dawn City. Obviously, he had suffered so much and would soon be able to escape from the sea of suffering. Mingming, we are almost home. The world in front of us is pitch black, and there is no sound. Guanshan and others suddenly stopped, unable to move any more. Their hearts all beat violently. The position of the demon cavalry is already visible to the naked eye, and they are reveling wantonly, the human race in front of them, whether it is those unarmed refugees, or the patrol team composed of child soldiers. They are not taken seriously. In the eyes of these demons, a 6th-level walker plus a bunch of 3rd-level extraordinary people, they have no second choice except to escape. The human race is just an ant. It's a pity that the demons can see through the level of human abilities, but they can't read the fiery soul of the human race. Meng Tuo's forehead was bulging with veins, and with a swish, he drew out the sword at his waist, pointed it directly at the enemy, and roared angrily. Fuck you. All the members of the Demon Slayer Division, draw your swords to fight. Shua, shua, shua. Except for Guan Shan and Xiao Xiaowei who can create weapons through their supernatural powers, everyone drew out their swords from their waists, holding the swords in one hand and taking out the military crossbows from their waists with the other hand. Everyone's eyes were red. Fuck the 6th-level demons, fuck the 4th-level demons. At this moment, everyone had only one thought in their hearts: kill them all. Not far in front of the patrol team, a team of demon cavalry was grinning at them, like a beast teasing its prey. They were all covered with dark scales, and the black keratin on their heads covered their cheeks, like an emotionless mask. Under the demon cavalry, the huge demon wolf was baring its teeth and roaring. Saliva flowed down the corners of their mouths, and their eyes were full of desire for killing. The cavalry captain at the head had a fanatical look in his eyes. He pulled out a long arrow from the quiver behind him, bent the bow and put the arrow on it, with a demonic aura attached to the arrow body, and as the bowstring was gradually pulled to its full length, it made a series of crackling sounds. The second round of arrow rain soon flew over the refugees' heads. Meng Tuo's legs exerted force and flew out, piercing into the refugee pile, and his 6th-level pressure was fully deployed to block all the arrows with demonic power. Those beasts are the wolf cavalry scout team of the demon clan. They like to consume from a distance the most. When our superpowers are exhausted, they will rush over again, and there will be only one way to die. Save superpowers. I will deal with the 6th-level captain, you deal with the others. Find a way to hold them down, don't let them fly like a kite. Meng Tuo spoke quickly, and the long knife in his hand chopped upwards, hitting the arrow that the pressure could not block. Yang Chao, you put 2 puppets to protect the refugees, and come back after leaving the range of the bow and arrow shooting. Wang Sheng, Xiao Hui, Xiao Jiang, you 3 go around from the side. Those 3rd-level monsters are left to you. Xin, you follow me closely, and don't stop increasing. I will find a way to keep the 3 4th-level monsters. Guan Shan quickly arranged the tasks in the team. In addition to dodging the rain of arrows, the training of Class 197 in the military academy also includes teamwork. Li Yunxian specially formulated a set of tactics based on the characteristics of each person, with Guan Shan as the spearhead and a team battle system of flanking from both sides. Everything is for Guan Shan, so that his extreme explosive power can hit the enemy's most painful place. At this moment, it is finally time to test the results. Have the discussion been completed? Meng Tuo asked anxiously. He had only been in contact with Class 197 for 2 days. Although he had understood everyone's abilities, it was far from enough to command before the battle. He simply delegated the command to Class 197 and let him decide how to fight, and he would cooperate. Captain, you only need to take care of that sixth-order monster, leave the rest to us. The silver cord falling from the sky has been connected to Guan Shan's back. He felt the familiar power and roared loudly. Good. Come on, little devils, let's go for a wave on the Huangquan road with me. That the words fell, Meng Tuo gathered the surrounding supernatural powers into his body and soared into the sky. He dug into the enemy formation alone. The cavalry captain threw away his bow and arrow, drew out the mace on his back, jumped up suddenly, and collided with Meng Tuo in the air. Boom, like two cannonballs colliding, the aftermath of the energy shook up dust flying all over the place. The cavalry captain sitting wolf was hit from the front by the aftermath, and his internal organs were directly scattered. He fell to the ground on the spot without any trace of breath. The demon cavalry were not slow to respond. They were not intimidated by Meng Tuo's fearless appearance, but instead divided into two groups in an orderly manner. The third-level monsters continued to shoot arrows at the refugees, the fourth-level monsters activated their energy shields, swarmed forward, and charged towards Meng Tuo. Unfortunately, before the three fourth-level monsters moved a few steps, they felt that the ward beneath them was spinning in circles as if they were drunk. They looked down and felt horrified. Under the cover of the dust in the sky, at some point, a thin layer of frost had formed on the ground. The warg's limbs struggled to maintain balance on the ice, but they were of little use. Being able to remain standing is already their limit. If they want to charge and kill like usual, they simply cannot do it. The three fourth-level monsters were well trained and activated their demon power at the same time to drive away the frost on the ground. They all put away their bows and arrows, took out their melee weapons, and stared vigilantly to sense the energy fluctuations around them. In the smoke, a figure suddenly shot out. The young man's eyes had turned an icy blue. His whole body was exuding a cold air, and the surrounding temperature seemed to have dropped suddenly because of his presence. In his hand, a silver-white sword seemed to sense the owner's emotions, trembling with anger. Chapter 89 Return to the Ruins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The three demon cavalrymen almost simultaneously gathered their demonic power and condensed it into an energy shield. However, in the gap between the demonic power coming in and out, Guanshan's sharp sword energy had already arrived. The demon cavalrymen closest to Guanshan felt that all the joints in their bodies were extremely stiff. They could have easily avoided the blow, but they could only watch the long sword pierce through their bodies. The demon cavalrymen felt pain, and the demonic power in their bodies suddenly became chaotic, and the energy shield that was about to condense also collapsed instantly. If the demon's body was not strong enough, this sword would have killed it. The other two demon cavalrymen picked up their swords and chopped Guanshan's back. This blow condensed all their demonic power, and they did not consider whether their companions would be chopped to death if Guanshan dodged. The demons are naturally fierce, making them fight very crazily. Sensing the attack from behind, Guanshan had no time to react. He could only rely on instinct to dodge to the side. The silver line in the air also cooperated with the force, allowing him to move sideways several meters in an instant and avoid the fatal slash. Fuck. I almost killed one first. Guanshan cursed in his heart, but he did not dare to pause and slashed with the sword again. His target was still the seriously injured demon. Guanshan knew that it was better to cut off one finger than to injure 10 fingers. The 10,000 god sword and the two slashing knives kept colliding in the air. Sparks were aroused. Guanshan had already activated Rage of Revenge at the moment of the fight. Even in the trial field, Guanshan's strength was very close to the 4th level. Now he has already broken through the 3rd level, and Liang Yusen, a full-time assistant, is constantly blessing him. In terms of strength, there is no difference between him and a real 4th level walker, and he can even suppress 3 4th level demon cavalrymen, but it was still unable to cause fatal injuries. No matter whether it was the human race or the demon race, once they reached the 4th level, it would be difficult to cause substantial damage as long as they had not exhausted their internal energy. Guanshan became more and more anxious as he fought. His condition was not suitable for a long battle. If he did not take down the 3 demons within 5 minutes, he would surely die. At the same time, Meng Tuo was as anxious as Guanshan. In his understanding, the group of new recruits in Class 197 were definitely not the opponents of the demon race. There was only one way to survive this time: quickly kill this 6th level demon captain, and then go to clean up the mess. Those human race geniuses could die on this land every minute and every second. Meng Tuo had to be anxious. The demon captain also saw the opponent's impatience, but gave up the fight and started a free fight. It was not anxious at all. As long as it took a while, its subordinates would get rid of the group of extraordinary people, and then join forces to deal with this 6th-level walker. They would be invincible anyway. The demon captain's face was full of playful expressions, and he even had the energy to speak human words, mocking in a yin-yang tone. Which of those little ghosts do you like the most? In a while, I will cut off his hands and feet with my own hands, make him into a human pig, and send him to Dawn City for you. What do you think? Don't be angry, at least he can still save his life, right? The demon captain turned his head nimbly and dodged the violent black knife. The mace in his hand sank slightly, and he exerted force violently, hitting Meng Tuo's chin and knocking him flying backwards. Meng Tuo spun in the air and stopped steadily. The energy shield blocked most of the damage, but the huge impact force still shook his internal organs and made his throat sweet, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Meng Tuo exerted force again and killed the target. On the battlefield, the most important thing is to keep your superpowers at all times and not put yourself in a dangerous situation. But the situation was like this. Meng Tuo didn't dare to hold back at all. Every strike was made with all his strength, without considering the endurance at all. The cavalry captain parried with ease. This human was too weak. If it weren't for the genuine 6th-level pressure, he would have suspected that this person was not even at the 5th level. Insignificant human. You ruined my interest. Go to hell. The cavalry captain blocked the black knife again, gathered all his demonic power in his right fist, and made claws with his fingers, slapping Meng Tuo's back of the head. This human was not worthy of fighting with him at all, and there was no need to waste time waiting for his subordinates to clear the field. Just kill him directly. The imagined skin and flesh did not appear. He didn't even feel the warm touch of the energy shield. The cavalry captain only felt that he grabbed the air, but the target was clearly in front of him. How is it possible? Meng Tuo seized this fleeting opportunity, fully activated his supernatural power, deprived the cavalry captain of his vision and hearing, gave up the black knife and twisted his body to get closer. He pulled out the military dagger on his leg and stabbed frantically. The originally strong and abundant energy shield on the cavalry captain gradually became thinner under such close-range continuous attacks. Meng Tuo disguised himself as an awakened person of the strengthening system from the beginning of the fight, and did not use any superpowers at all. He would rather risk losing his head and be suppressed throughout the whole process, and did not expose a single bit. Finally, he found the opponent's flaw. Take advantage of your illness to kill you. The dagger was rolled, so he used his fists. Meng Tuo almost overdrew his physical energy without caring about his life. He gave up the defense of other parts of his body, concentrated all his superpowers on his fists, and attacked the target desperately. The fear in the captain's heart finally overcame the beast of the demons. He shouted frantically, wanting to summon his subordinates to his side. He had already felt that his demon power was about to fail. 2 4th-level demons heard the captain's call. One stayed to continue fighting with Guanshan, and the other took the opportunity to escape and rush towards the captain. The captain of the cavalry and Meng Tuo were both at the end of their strength. At this time, whoever could wait for help first would have the balance of victory tilted to that side. Feeling that his companions were getting closer and closer, the captain of the cavalry also became ruthless, abandoned defense, and fought Meng Tuo. This annoying bug made it so embarrassed. He must not let him run away. Damn. Almost. Just a little bit. You beast. Die for me. Meng Tuo's eyes, nostrils, and ears were all losing blood. The overdrawn superpowers were eroding his vitality, but he could no longer care so much. In his eyes, there was only the demon in front of him. Meng Tuo wanted it to die. Even if he would be shot in the head by his companions in the next second, this beast must die. The 4th-level demon who came to support could already see his captain, but suddenly stopped and his frantic steps came to an abrupt end. Its limbs trembled unconsciously, not knowing whether it was because of the cold or because of fear. A terrible pressure came from behind it. A cold voice was also transmitted to its ears. Who said you can leave? The 4th-level demon turned around tremblingly, and a cold light flashed in its scarlet vertical pupils, rushing straight into the sky. Guishu. Chapter 90 The Meaning of Fighting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The light of a sword is cold, the white sword energy, wrapped in a deadly cold wave, crushed everything in its path. The two fourth-level monsters were already frozen and turned into ice sculptures before they were directly hit by the sword energy. The violent sword energy rushed straight towards the cavalry captain, and the intensity of this blow was already close to that of a fifth-level walker's full blow. The forced cavalry captain had to use a large part of his demon power to resist. Although he barely blocked it, but the already stretched demonic power was completely exhausted at this moment. How could Meng-Tuo let go of this God-given opportunity? He quickly took out the healing potion from his waist and plunged it into his thigh. There was no time to pull out the needle, directly punch and attack. Poof! Meng-Tuo's right fist penetrated the chest of the cavalry captain and caught a beating crystal core. Ah! He shouted loudly and jerked upwards, bones shattered, flesh and blood splattered, a dark red crystal core shone with a strange light in Meng-Tuo's hand. The life of the cavalry captain died instantly as the crystal core left his body, and he fell straight to the ground without any movement. Return to ruins, coupled with the active violence of the 10,000 God sword, instantly drained Guan Shan of all his life force. Guan Shan himself didn't know what the result of this attack would be. The moment he swung his sword, he died. His pupils were dilated, but he still maintained the posture of holding the sword and fought until the last moment. A thin silver thread hung from the sky, gently hugged Guan Shan's body, lifted it gently, and sent it up into the air. Yang Chao flew over quickly on a falcon, caught Guan Shan's body with one claw, and circled to avoid the long arrows. Flying quickly towards the back, without falcon suppression, the pressure on Wang Sheng and the Qiao brothers and sisters suddenly increased. Although the fight on their side was not as exciting as the fight between the immortals on the traveler's side, it was more dangerous. Both sides were at level 3, and no one had energy shields. Anyone who was hit by a crossbow or long arrow would be doomed. Those long arrows with demonic power attached to them are completely different from the crossbow arrows released by the machine during training. The third level of pressure can only slightly change the direction of the long arrow shooting. If you are not careful, you will be shot in the head. Dang dang dang. Shall we knock down 3 long arrows again, protected her brother behind her, and shouted anxiously, my brother's power has been exhausted. Wang Sheng, you take him and retreat to the captain's side. I will cut off the rear. No, you will be dead if I leave. The captain will be here soon. If you persist. Before Wang Sheng finished speaking, Qiao Shaohui was shot in the chest by a long arrow. Her whole body flew out and hit a thick tree. Her life or death was unknown. Fuck. Wang Sheng roared, picked up Qiao Jiang, rushed to Qiao Shaohui's side, took out the healing potion from his waist, and plunged it into her leg. Wang Sheng stood in front of his 2 teammates, constantly waving the long knife in his hand to resist the long arrows that were continuously shot. His movements became slower and slower, and his hands and feet seemed to be no longer his own. Wang Sheng was exhausted from the long-term high-intensity operation of his powers, as he swung the knife again. The familiar feeling of blow did not come. In Wang Sheng's pupils, a long black arrow was very close. Are you going to die? I should not lose face to the Wang family. Damn it, I also want to kill a few level 4 monsters. After all, I still can't win against Guan Shan. Wang Sheng did not close his eyes. A real warrior must face his own death. Click. At the critical moment, a long black knife came from the side and cut off the fatal arrow. Next, leave it to me. You can rest for a while first. Liang Yusin's voice was very weak. She was holding a black knife and standing side by side with Wang Sheng. Her face was frighteningly white, and even the silver thread on her head became looming. Wang Sheng no longer had the strength to answer. He raised his long knife tremblingly and stared straight ahead. The group of third-level demon cavalry had noticed that the captain's aura had disappeared. Seeing that they could not kill Wang Sheng in a short period of time, they stopped staying and immediately turned around and wanted to retreat to Fundu city behind them, but the wargs under them all seemed to have drunk fake wine, shaking their heads and spinning in circles, unable to take a single step. I want to run now. Too late. Meng-Tuo's figure fell from the sky. Even though he was at the end of his strength, the remaining power of the 6th-level walker was not something that the 3rd-level demon clan could contend with. In an instant, flesh and blood splattered. In just a few breaths, all 8 monsters and their mounts were killed by Meng Tuo, leaving no room for them to fight back. It wasn't until the breath of the last monster disappeared completely that Meng Tuo's legs weakened and he knelt on the ground. Yang Chao's falcon slowly fell from the sky and put down Guan Shan's body. Yang Chao scanned the battlefield and rushed towards the Qiao brothers and sisters immediately. It's okay. Xiaoyi's breast shield blocked the arrow. She must have been knocked unconscious. Xiao Zhang's power loss was very serious, but he was not fatally injured and can recover. I just called for backup. It should be here soon. We can return to camp soon. This time, we won. After Wang Sheng and Liang Yusen heard Yang Chao's words, their tense nerves suddenly relaxed and they suddenly collapsed to the ground. Is this what death feels like? Are you going through this every day? Liang Yusen's heart was beating fast, and her whole body was soaked in cold sweat. She turned her head with difficulty, glanced at Guan Shan's corpse, and couldn't help but think in her heart, amidst the billowing smoke and dust, a black military vehicle drove out of the hunting ground. Guan Shan took a sharp breath and jumped up from the carriage. He observed the surroundings vigilantly. He slowly felt relieved when he saw the familiar faces. Don't worry, everyone is fine. That group of monsters has been wiped out. We won the battle. Meng Tuo said weakly, half leaning on the carriage. The last move you used was too evil. It was almost like the demon clan self-destructing. No, it's much stronger than the demon clan's self-destruction. Can such a skill really be thought up by humans? Guan Shan personally checked the breath of his teammates and confirmed that everyone was fine. Then he sat down and slowly said, Captain, if you want to learn, I will teach you later. Meng Tuo chuckled sheepishly when his thoughts were read. As a result, the wound on his body was pulled, and he suddenly grinned. Then, we agreed, don't let the time come. It's agreed. Guan Shan nodded seriously. The military vehicle slowly stopped at the foot of Dawn City. Guan Shan watched his teammates being carried away on stretchers one by one, and then he slowly let go of the big stone hanging in his heart. Benefactor. A weak shout attracted Guan Shan's attention. He looked in the direction of the sound. A girl was holding a broken clay pot. The blood on the mouth of the pot had dried and solidified, and was covered with a layer of yellow dust. The girl stared directly at Guan Shan and whispered, Benefactor, thank you. The refugees around the girl looked at Guan Shan one after another, their eyes already blurred by tears. For them, the cruelty of war and the hardship of life made them physically and mentally exhausted, and they almost lost the will to survive. It was the boy in front of him and his companions who gave the refugees hope to live. If it weren't for the young man in front of them, they would be dead now, died before dawn, in the last dark night. Benefactor, thank you. Benefactor, thank you. Benefactor, thank you. The voices of the refugees echoed one after another, like echoes in the valley, conveying their gratitude. Guan Shan stood there blankly, and in those grateful eyes, he seemed to see the thing that my desperate self wanted most. It turned out that the child who was eager to save could already save other people without knowing it. At this moment, he couldn't help but think, the meaning of fighting, maybe it's more than just revenge.